Ooh, no kitties in here. Close that. Hells yeah. Let's go. You know what we can do? No. No, we can't. No, we can't do. Damn you, Boblan! You just can't win, can you? Oh, oh, there we go. Hey, let's just go ahead and say whoop through audio management. All right, cool. So now, hello, welcome to the Airmech Carry Me number 5. This is game 2 of the semifinals. It's semifinals because people usually don't show up, but that's okay. We've got happydeath carrying elf28 over on the left-hand side in the carbon team. happydeath is switching to bomber, interestingly enough. This map is dust. Bomber generally, it's hit or miss when you play dust. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, we've got hawk485 in the helix and camdoogen supporting him in that Osprey. Hawk is actually going to be carrying camdoogen in this particular tournament. Hawk is I normally associate him with map making in PvE, but actually has a pretty good PvP track record. So Hawk and camdoogen just moving up with a handful of Longhorn and the single Gemini, already neutralizing that top post and moving forward to the middle outpost. happydeath is going to put down bear traps. That is going to consistently be a thorn in the side of this red team, because you do need infantry to capture outposts, and bear traps kill infantry. So having enough bear traps on the field can keep people from capturing their outposts. camdoogen dropping Gemini on the defense, but with their asses facing the shells, they do get pounded up the ass, and that does do more damage to those particular tanks. So now majority of Carbon Team has moved forward and already has an excellent tank line with a very good concave on that red team. Fortunately, red team not taking any casualties, actually babysitting their tanks very well. camdoogen getting the heal, but happydeath moving forward, not gonna wait. Thank God. It is dust though, so I don't know what to expect. Red is going to lose Gemini here, Gemini there. Longhorn almost goes down, losing one patcher as well. So taking a couple casualties. Red has yet to reciprocate. happydeath with the bomber is really going to prevent red team from setting up any kind of firm line to fight this, unfortunately. Because bomber bombs do have that area of effect damage over time that they can do. So moving in with a couple of jackals, going to hit behind the lines. That's going to be just out of way of those tanks. And is he going for the fort? Yep, not the capture. So he is just going to consistently ping the fort corners, force red to relocate some units over, and force the red to divert their attention over somewhere else. So elf and happydeath are just going to punish this. And red team is starting to lose tanks, and they're still taking damage on the fort, and so a couple of units were pulled back, the attention was pulled back, and so Carbon successfully takes that top post. It's just going to keep on moving along, keep on trucking, and is going to take this next outpost as well. So they're going to have tanks roll in around the top. May actually take one or two of those and drop those on the fort for the extra distraction. Meanwhile, happydeath moving in with more tanks on the bottom rung. There are a couple of red heavy mines here that they do not see, so that may or may not be turning the tides, but there's just not enough red units here to deal with it, and all of the red units are pulled to the right side, which means these carbon units on the left-hand side are going to move in unopposed. The pincer move is real, and the heavy mine does go off, almost kills a handful of tanks, so those would be easy to pick off if red had units, but they just don't. Hawk not really making any use of his helix missiles, sitting at full energy, does pick off elf. happydeath still here though. happydeath not really using his bombs, more doing a micro, but using boosters. And is inherently making his mech faster and giving him more carry weight. Putting a couple of bombs down on those tanks, give him a little bit of damage over time, runs out of energy, and loses the boosters. Boosters are something that you have to consistently rebuild. Also planting more bear traps. So red team does hold, but for how long and at what cost? Carbon team does look like they've set up an artillery or two, and is going to be able to consistently put damage in. So they're just trying to heal those tanks up that were damaged from the heavy mines. As soon as they're back up to full strength, they've got a unit upkeep advantage of 2-1. They know that they have the numbers. They know that they can win this. All they need is to have their units literally not on the brink of death, and they should be able to push in just fine. No units really in the back, though, so if Red were going to try and exploit or come back, it would be having to do with keeping these middle outposts neutral, which is something that hasn't really been done. But then again, this is Dust. Good luck pushing a side path. Couple of busters coming in. Going to be able to get consistent damage out. Buster's generally pretty good against tanks. It's short for Tank Buster. So Buster leading the charge, has really strong frontal armor, doesn't give a fuck about being shot, whereas the Longhorn behind are actually doing pretty well. So Carbon trying to move up, not really getting all their units on the other side of this outpost. I think they're playing a little bit shy. Happy Death could definitely make the difference because Red has no anti-air. All you need is the bomber to land and start swinging with that melee attack, and the units will do so much better. But focusing very clearly on an airborne bomber with boosters and energy guardians. So Happy Death perhaps not taking that into account. But then again, he is kind of like the best player at this game in general. So who am I to question his tactics? So Happy Death going to make this work, taking down camdoogen and just aiming for Hawk as well. Since they are not in control of this post, Red Team is going to have to fly back to the fort every single time they want to heal any units. Enough Red stuff has died. The Carbon is able to move forward and push them completely off of that post. Carbon now going into full domination mode. And so Red will have one more chance to try and salvage this. Because this particular game, tell you what, this is just about over. Red Team is going to need a Christmas miracle, and tell you what, it's October, so not going to happen anytime soon. Because this game will not be lasting another month. They've got maybe a minute and a half at most. Setting up artillery, just adding insult to injury. Artillery definitely going to be able to take on most of those tanks. The infamous tank range extenders so that the Carbon line is even stronger. Happy Death still microing his little heart out, picking up the damage tanks and making sure that those get healed. Elf, meanwhile, adding in patchers, holding down right-click as a good Osprey should, making sure that none of these tanks actually die. Red Team running out of units. They look like they've stabilized, but they can't build anymore. This is a 3-to-1 upkeep advantage. So Carbon just needs to get brave, hover over their units, and tap T once or twice, and then this game is basically over. But that is a hard key to reach sometimes. It is 3 keys over from your typical index finger position, so I can see why they're not doing that. It is just a logistical difficulty to do that. Red Team trying to pincer, trying to get a decent flank on, but there's just not enough units here. So Carbon quickly going to get the finish. And that's a GG. Happy Death and Elf making it seem like I stacked the teams. I'm pretty sure they're fairly even, but perhaps not. Happy Death. Just that good. Holy crap.